181 House Democrats have now co-sponsored articles of impeachment against Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem, and Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries just announced that impeachment proceedings begin this week. One of the three articles of impeachment? Self-dealing. Noem gave a $200 million ICE recruitment contract to a company that was formed just days before getting the contract. The company is run by the husband of her senior DHS official and close friend. This won't succeed. Republicans control the House, and even if it passed, the Senate won't convict. But it gives Democrats a formal investigative vehicle to focus public attention, build an evidentiary record through hearings, and pressure Republicans to use their oversight powers. And it puts every Republican on record defending this corruption. If you're new here, I'm Jordan Vale, and we're building a community of people who refuse to stand by while democracy is under attack. We need voices like yours in this fight, so hit that subscribe button. Let me start with the numbers, because the level of Democratic unity here is unprecedented. According to Congress.gov, as of February 2nd, House Resolution 996 has 181 current co-sponsors, including 80 original sponsors. There are 213 House Democrats total. 181 co-sponsors means 85% of the Democratic caucus has signed on. And according to Representative Robin Kelly's office on January 27th, after Alex Pretti was shot and killed in Minneapolis by an ICE agent, 50 members joined as co-sponsors. From ABC News, a Democratic effort led by Representative Robin Kelly of Illinois now has 162 co-sponsors to impeach Noem, gaining 51 Democrats in the aftermath of Pretti's killing. So support spiked immediately after the Pretti shooting. 51 new co-sponsors in 1 week. And then Hakeem Jeffries made it official.
I did reiterate in my conversation with Speaker Johnson that we intend to proceed with impeachment proceedings if Kristi Noem is not fired. Kristi Noem is a complete and total embarrassment. She's a disgrace. And on top of all of that, she's presided over the cold-blooded killings of American citizens, like Renee Nicole Good and Alex Pretti. Unacceptable. She should have never been confirmed. Shame on every Republican in the Senate who put this wildly unqualified person into a position of significance in the Department of Homeland Security so she could unleash brutalization on everyday Americans, American citizens, and law-abiding immigrant families. It's disgraceful. She's got to go. We are dead serious. She needs to be put on ice permanently. She's got to go. And by the way, she's not the only one. Stephen Miller is the architect of Donald Trump's toxic immigration policies. He's a stone-cold liar. He's a bigot. He's a hateful individual. He's a malignant, unelected interloper. He needs to go as well. Why does Donald Trump, if he truly is trying to change direction, have these people around? So when we evaluate the administration's intentions, we're not interested in a change in tone. We're interested in a change in behavior on the ground in American communities across the country and as it relates to the people who are around Donald Trump.
From Leader Jeffries' official transcript of his CNN interview on January 28th, Kate Bolduan asked, "Does that mean you now support the effort to try and impeach Kristi Noem?" Jeffries responded, "Donald Trump needs to fire Kristi Noem immediately. She is creating harm to the American people. Taxpayer dollars are actually being used by the Department of Homeland Security to kill American citizens and to brutalize law-abiding immigrant families. That's unacceptable. So she's got to go." Bolduan followed up, "Okay, short of him firing her, you support moving towards impeachment?" And Jeffries said, "We will commence impeachment proceedings against Kristi Noem in the absence of her being fired." According to the Washington Post on January 26th, House Democrats are set to open an investigation into Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem as early as next week, laying the groundwork for a push to impeach her. Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries confirmed Tuesday that Democrats will launch an impeachment investigation if Noem is not fired before the House returns next week. That was last week. This is this week. Democrats are launching their impeachment effort now, an investigation built around fact-finding, public hearings, and forcing Republicans to go on record. Now, let me walk you through the three articles of impeachment, because each one is serious. Article 3 is the cleanest corruption story: self-dealing. From the official impeachment text on GovTrack, the resolution states, Kristi Lynn Arnold Noem has violated 5 CFR PT 2635, misuse of position, by using her position for personal gain while inappropriately using taxpayer dollars. Kristi Lynn Arnold Noem is using her position to circumvent the federal contracting process and funneling federal funds to her friends' businesses. Kristi Lynn Arnold Noem used the cover of a national emergency to bypass the competitive bidding process and direct federal dollars to close associates. Here's what actually happened. From Representative Morgan McGarvey's office, Secretary Noem has misused her position for personal gain while inappropriately using $200 million taxpayer dollars to fund an ad campaign for ICE recruitment. She bypassed the normal competitive bidding process to award a contract to a firm called Strategy Group. Strategy Group was formed just days before the award and is run by the husband of senior DHS official Tricia McLaughlin, a close friend of Secretary Noem. Let me break that down. Tricia McLaughlin is the DHS Assistant Secretary for Public Affairs. She's a close friend of Kristi Noem and a senior DHS official. Her husband is Ben Yoho. He's the CEO of Strategy Group. Strategy Group was formed just days before getting a $200 million contract from DHS. According to South Dakota Searchlight, reporting on a ProPublica investigation from November 2025, Noem has hailed the more than $200 million taxpayer-funded ad campaign as a crucial tool to stem illegal immigration. Her agency invoked the national emergency at the border as it awarded contracts for the campaign, bypassing the normal competitive bidding process designed to prevent waste and corruption. The Department of Homeland Security has kept at least one beneficiary of the 9-figure ad deal a secret, records and interviews show, a Republican consulting firm with long-standing personal and business ties to Noem and her senior aides at DHS. And here's McLaughlin's response when asked about her husband's company getting the contract. She said, I don't know who they're a subcontractor with, but I don't work with them because I have a conflict of interest and I fully recused myself. My marriage is one thing and work is another. I don't combine them. She recused herself. But her boss, Kristi Noem, still gave the contract to her husband's brand new company. From ProPublica, Lewandowski brought Yoho into Noem's inner circle back in South Dakota, according to two people familiar with the matter, putting the young consultant in charge of the ad side of her 2022 gubernatorial re-election campaign. Noem had a more than $5 million advertising budget for the race, records show. After she won in a landslide, Yoho, who has called Noem a friend, came to South Dakota to attend her inauguration ceremony. ProPublica reported that Ben Yoho shared a photo of himself with Noem and her husband, Brian, at Noem's 2023 inauguration in South Dakota. So Yoho is a friend of Noem. He worked on her campaign, he attended her inauguration, he's married to Noem's senior DHS official. And days after forming his company, he got a $200 million no-bid contract justified by a national emergency. That's Article 3. Self-dealing. Now let me tell you about Article 1, Obstruction of Congress. From Representative Mike Thompson's office, Secretary Noem violated her constitutional oath and refused to comply with the law that prohibits the Department of Homeland Security from preventing a member of Congress from entering a DHS facility used to detain undocumented immigrants. Representative Kelly has tried to enter the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement Facility in Broadview, Illinois, but was denied, despite following Secretary Noem's unlawful 7-day notice. There's been documentation of 6 other instances in which members of Congress have tried to enter an ICE facility and been denied in Texas, Colorado, California, New York, Virginia, and Washington. Members of Congress have a constitutional right to conduct oversight. Noem blocked them. And according to Government Executive, a dozen members of Congress have sued Noem over those denied visits at ICE facilities to conduct oversight and were granted a stay to that policy by a federal judge. But Noem issued a new policy, and last weekend, several Minnesota lawmakers were blocked from visits to ICE facilities. A federal judge is currently probing to see if the new policy from Noem violates her court order from December. So, a federal judge blocked the policy being used to deny congressional access. Noem issued a new policy to keep blocking them, and now the judge is investigating whether that new policy violates the court order. That's Article 1, Obstruction of Congress. Article 2 is Violation of Public Trust. Secretary Noem has repeatedly violated the Immigration and Nationality Act, as well as the First and Fourth Amendments of the United States Constitution. She has also undermined due process by directing ICE to conduct warrantless arrests and to use excessive force against U.S. citizens and lawfully present individuals. And from Representative Kevin Mullin's office, to date, ICE and other DHS agents have detained over 170 U.S. citizens, sometimes for hours or days without warrants or legal justification. 6 people killed, 170 U.S. citizens illegally detained, constitutional violations, warrantless arrests, excessive force. That's Article 2, Violation of Public Trust. So those are the 3 articles. Self-dealing with a $200 million contract, obstructing congressional oversight, and killing Americans while violating the Constitution. Now let me tell you what Hakeem Jeffries has been saying about Kristi Noem, because he's not holding back. From his official transcript of an MS Now interview on January 27th, Jeffries said, "Kristi Noem is a despicable, corrupt, pathological liar. We've seen her slander not just 1, but 2 American citizens, patriotic Americans who were killed without justification on the streets of Minneapolis in the last few weeks. She's deeply unqualified. She never should have been confirmed to begin with by Senate Republicans." And according to The Hill on January 30th, Jeffries told reporters in the Capitol, "She's got to go. We are dead serious. She needs to be put on ice permanently." He said, "If Kristi Noem is not fired immediately, impeachment proceedings will commence." And from Representative Jamie Raskin's official statement, Raskin is the ranking member on House Judiciary, he said, Representative Robin Kelly's H. Res. 996, a resolution to impeach Secretary Noem, has galvanized members of the House of Representatives to express their outrage at Secretary Noem's conduct and has properly propelled our committees along this path. We must build on this resolution through fact-finding, public hearings, and committee reports detailing all of Secretary Noem's potential high crimes and misdemeanors and take our case to the American people. Fact-finding, public hearings, committee reports. According to Fox News, without control of the committee, Democrats will hold shadow hearings to further their case against Noem, a source familiar with their plans told Fox News Digital. The source said, "We've had 2 so far. Other committees have as well." So Democrats are already holding hearings, even though they're in the minority. Now here's the political reality. This impeachment won't succeed. To impeach, you need a simple majority in the House. That's 218 votes. The current House has 218 Republicans and 213 Democrats. Even if every single Democrat voted to impeach, they'd still be 5 votes short. And according to ABC News, no Republicans have signed on to the effort so far, despite dozens of Republicans calling for an investigation into the Pretti killing. And even if it somehow passed the House, it would die in the Senate, just like the Mayorkas impeachment died. So why are Democrats doing this? Because they're drawing a constitutional line. It lets Democrats build a public evidentiary record through hearings, FOIA requests, whistleblower testimony, court filings, and media reporting. While putting Republicans on record, they can hold hearings. They can call witnesses where cooperation allows. They can expose what's happening at DHS, even without committee control. And it puts every Republican on record. When the impeachment vote comes, every single Republican will have to decide, do I defend Kristi Noem giving a $200 million contract to her friend's brand new company? Do I defend her blocking congressional oversight? Do I defend the pattern of fatal encounters involving DHS agents under Noem's leadership? Those votes matter for the midterms. And there's one more thing. According to ABC News, Republican Senator Tom Tillis of North Carolina became the first Senate Republican to say Noem should no longer serve in her role. Asked by a reporter Tuesday evening if he still had confidence in Noem after what's occurred in Minneapolis, Tillis said, "No, not at all." That's the first Senate Republican breaking ranks. Now, how has DHS responded to all of this? According to Newsweek, a spokesperson for DHS previously dismissed the effort as silly in a statement to Newsweek. And Tricia McLaughlin, the woman whose husband got the $200 million contract, responded, DHS is a law enforcement agency, enforcing the rule of law passed by Congress. If members don't like the law, it is quite literally their job to change it. As ICE officers are facing a 1,300% increase in assaults against them, politicians are more focused on showmanship and fundraising clicks than actually removing criminals from our streets. Showmanship and fundraising clicks. That's what she called impeachment articles co-sponsored by 181 members of Congress. But here's what matters. 181 House Democrats, 85% of the caucus, have co-sponsored articles of impeachment against Kristi Noem. Support surged after Alex Pretti was killed. Hakeem Jeffries announced impeachment proceedings begin this week. The three articles are giving a $200 million contract to her friend's brand new company, obstructing congressional oversight, and presiding over multiple deaths involving DHS operations, including several American citizens, while Democrats allege constitutional violations and excessive force. This won't succeed in removing her. Republicans won't let it. But it will expose the corruption. It will force public hearings. It will put Republicans on record defending all of this. And if you remember the Mayorkas impeachment, you know how this works. It died in the Senate, but it mattered politically. It put a spotlight on DHS. It forced Republicans to defend policies they didn't want to defend. This is the same playbook. Use the investigation to expose. Use the hearings to educate. Use the vote to create political consequences. Let me know what you think in the comments. Does the $200 million contract scandal surprise you? Should Kristi Noem resign? And do you think impeachment proceedings matter even if they won't succeed? Share this video. People need to know that 181 Democrats have co-sponsored articles of impeachment against Kristi Noem. They need to understand what the self-dealing charge is about, a $200 million contract to a company formed days before getting the money, run by the husband of Noem's close friend at DHS. We're building something here, a community that tracks corruption, demands accountability, and understands that sometimes the process matters as much as the outcome, because these hearings will expose things Republicans don't want exposed, and those votes will matter in 2026.
Thanks for spending a few minutes digging into this with me. If you want more grounded, progressive commentary without the outrage bait, subscribe and stick around. Every time you watch, share, and engage, it helps build a community that believes democracy is worth understanding and defending. I'll see you in the next video.